Thank you. Hello there, everyone. I am Chris, and I am Tech Help Guy. Like I said, I'm Chris. I'm a Canadian, and I'm from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I am a tech enthusiast. I love technology. Absolutely everything. From music and audio tech and all that, to visual production, video editing, graphic design, computers, all of them. Even Windows, I guess, a little bit, maybe. Crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, markets, finance, the web, the internet, social media, websites. I just love tech. And as you can see, that is me. And right now, this is me with a beard. Why am I here? It's simple. I just want to do this once a month or so and just hang out with people. Anyone that's having tech issues, they can always pop in and we can talk about it. I can't guarantee I can help you, but I'll try. I like trying to problem solve and figure these things out, and I just think a lot of people don't and struggle a lot, and they want to just, throw their computer at the wall or break their device. And I'm trying to help you not do that, Any topics, any suggestions, anytime, just say the word and we'll try to talk about it. Every time I do these, I'm going to have a subject that I'm going to try to talk about. And I'm a real person. I'm not a scam artist. I know that's what a scam artist would say, but I promise. No. I'm a trustworthy person, and I'm here just to help. I specifically am focusing on Edmonton, Alberta, and Canada. I'm trying to keep anything outside of that out. I just want to help Canadians, particularly older Canadians, our parents, our grandparents, and younger Canadians too. The internet is an extremely dangerous place for young people, so I want to be here to just be a trustworthy person that people can find help if they need it. There isn't a catch. There's no catch. What is the catch? There is no catch. I'm just doing this for free because I'm passionate about it and I got the time, and I'd like to help people out. If by some chance you do think you want to help me out, you can donate at TechHelpGuy.ca, and there's a variety of ways down there you can donate, from regular money to crypto to interact and all the above. But I don't need money, and I don't require money to help you. I am a person with time, limited time in my life, but I will do my best to help you out and all that. Like I just showed you, techhelpguy.ca, that is the main way to find me. You can find me on Facebook page and Instagram and the other socials, but if you really need the most direct place, is techhelpguy.ca, and you can find me in the Telegram private messaging, or you can talk through email. And again, please be careful of scammers. I'm just starting this right now, so no one knows about me, and that if I gain a little more prominence and I become more successful at this and known, as the internet is and as the world is, there's lots of scammers who may try to get in there, and I'm going to do my best to manage it. But make sure, if you're talking, looking for help, you're talking to me, Chris with the beard, Chris without the beard, Tech Help Guy without the beard, or with the beard. Today's topic is password management and password managers. So when it comes to everything I'm doing with Tech Help Guy, I'm trying to keep it timeless for the technological age and principled. I want to try to make it as not confusing as possible. And I want it to work across all platforms. So when I'm showing you things on Tech Help Guy during my live streams, I'm trying to make it general principles that work across, every kind of computer system, Android or Apple, Mac or Windows or Linux. And yeah. So today I'm going to use KeePass XC because this is actually a really good example of a password manager that works across platforms. So why do we need password managers? Because again, you got to be careful of scammers, and the internet is global and it's full of scammers, people who are constantly trying to hack into, websites, accounts. And the way the world works, as we all know, is the internet does everything now. It does your purchases, it does your banking, it does real important things, your private communications, corporations run on the internet. And we all individually need to be able to access these things, but we also don't want bad actors to access these things. And passwords drive people crazy, most normal people crazy, especially now when your company you work for is like making you change your password every month or something. It's like, oh, this is so annoying. How am I supposed to remember these passwords? It's so overwhelming, and I'm just going to go password 123, and then the next month I'm going to go password 1234, and then the next month I'm going to go back to password 123. And I get the hassle and the struggle for people, but it's no joke. If people can access your business or your personal data, it can really screw over everything. And it's frustrating for IT people to constantly be trying to coach people into this. And most people still ignore it. But if you can understand the principle of a password manager and password management, it makes it a lot easier. And it's just one of those things in life, you got to work, you program yourself to get up at whatever 7 in the morning to go to work and give yourself time. It's the same thing with using computers and having a password manager. You just got to do it. And once you've established your own system, and again, these are all principles. You don't have to pick KeePass XC. There's many others. But the idea that I'm going to store my passwords in a place that is safe and encrypted, and I'm going to use this system every single time, it just becomes your nature. And once it's your nature, it's not a problem at all. It's not confusing. It's not frustrating. And you can make the most ridiculously impossible passwords to remember, but you know where to find them and how to use them. And once you programmed your mind to do that, it's just a normal part of life, and it's really easy. And it might be at first, if you pick one and you're trying to learn it, it might get a little frustrating sometimes. It doesn't work the way you want it, or you're just tripping over yourself. But once you program your mind to do this and use this method and this principle all the time, it becomes second nature, and it's easy. And it keeps your business safe, the company you work for or the business you're running, and it keeps you safe. And if we all did it, it would keep the world safe. We would have a lot less problems with cybersecurity and scammery and just lost money to criminals. And we really need to do that as a society, is do everything we can to protect yourself from the criminals. It'll make a better world. So, like I said, I'm using KeePass XC, and there's a million or so other versions of this. You'll know, obviously, everyone who uses the internet now, it's like you go on your whatever web browser you use, Safari or Brave or Firefox or whatever Windows is now. I can't remember the exact name off the top of my head right now because I don't use it very often. But um, the web browser itself has a password manager, and generally, like they make them secure, right? They're there. And they work. But a lot of people will often just use that, and then, their computer blows up and now they've lost access to everything, and it's a huge hassle. And that would be one of the first principles I want to mention is when you use a password manager, just make sure you have it at least on one other device. A good example is Mac has keychain, and that actually works. It's end-to-end encrypted, which means only you have access to it. But it goes across the cloud. It's held securely on Apple, in the Apple servers. But keychain can be on your iPhone. It can be on your computer, multiple iPhones, and ultimately it's in your iCloud, but super encrypted. And you need to use password managers, but you also want to make sure that if you drop your phone in the toilet, or your shitty, sorry my French, PC just dies for no reason and you lose everything because you were using the web browser on it and auto-filling and saving all your passwords in it, and now it's gone because that's the only place you ever stored it. Most browsers have the ability to, like nowadays, to you have your browser on that you're using on your phone, and then you use the same browser on your computer, and you can sync those. But like one of the most important principles is always use a password manager, but make sure that you have that password manager connected to more than one source and device. Go back to why we use password managers. So a lot of people think, hey, I got this super complicated, complex password, and I use it for everything. That's a bad idea. Because when hackers breach a database and they find or figure out your password, and not only your password, but the email you use to log in and the password that goes with it, if you use the same login email and the same login password for everything, you can have your life destroyed that way. And it's very serious. It's not a joke. The reason you use a password manager is because you can then use a million different emails and a million different passwords, and you don't have to remember all of them. A password manager keeps that all stored securely in high level encryption, and you are the only person that accesses that password manager. And that is, if you use for every social media account and every email account and every Amazon account and shopping account and credit card account and banking account, you use a different, it's fine if you use the same email generally, but if you use a different insanely complex password for each account, then if one of those, unfortunately, those companies get hacked and have a data breach, there's no way to associate that one account and that password with all your other accounts and passwords. And in this internet age, everyone has like at least hundreds, if not more, of accounts that they have to use credentials on. And that's the beauty of it. You can just hey, it's not so scary, to just sign up for things, because you can use a different email, you can use a different password, and it's not this compromising. Even if it's a scam site and you didn't know when you're just logging in and you're signing up for it, you're using a completely different credential every time, so it's not going to span across all the things you need to keep secure. So we'll go into KeePass XC. KeePass XC is, let me go here 1 second here. If I go, so there's obviously varying statistics, but KeePass XC is pretty much in the top 10 password managers in the world. There's a variety of other one's called 1Password. There's LastPass, there's Bitwarden, there's Dashlane, and there's KeePass. There's Apple iCloud Keychain, which I talked about. There's Google Password Manager. There's Microsoft Authenticator. There's a million different password managers that you can use, and they all have, each list will tell you one's better than the other. But generally, KeePass is a pretty well-recognized password manager, and it works across all platforms. Again, with the principle of having it in more than one place. So you can use this on a Mac, you can use this on a Windows, you can use it on a Linux, and all that. And the good thing about KeePass is you can create your database. Let's do that right now. I'm not going to be too complicated here, but you can name your database, call it passwords, and you can choose the decryption time, make it in really hard. There's different formats. You use the recommended format. We're not going to go into advanced settings. And so you can make passwords for your, so you're gonna that the key. A lot of people will be proud of. They have an interesting password that they use for everything. Don't use it for everything, but definitely make a really good password for your password manager, because that's where all your passwords are going to be stored. There's ways to make passwords, and again, don't pick simple ones like dates and names and times and all that stuff. The greatest rule that I find most powerful and refreshing and memorable is tell yourself a story or make a sentence. So it's something as simple as I am TechHelpGuy and I like pizza. And you make that your mantra, and you don't write that, but you say, I am TechHelpGuy and I love pizza, and use the first letter of all those words. And you just say that to yourself every time you type in your password for your password manager. And it can be anything, whatever story you want to tell yourself. And then that alone is a pretty decent password, but you can make it more complex. So you can have some sort of system where you say this sentence, and in between each letter, you add a number, or you add a symbol in some way that is memorable to you and systematic. And as you say that sentence and you add these symbols or letters or numbers in between each word, you now have a more complex password. And if you want to take it to another level of complexity, which is always good, you want your password to be extremely complex. That way, no hacker can ever, figure it out. You can say the sentence, input the numbers, letters, symbols in between the sentence letters, but you can also use a shift, every first letter or every second letter or every third letter, and that capitalizes the password. But to have fun and to continue this tutorial live stream, I'm going to say my password is 1234 because, that's not secure at all. And that goes against all my principles that I'm talking about. So now it's going to give me the option to save this database. And this is the beautiful thing about KeePass XC is you save the database, and now, like I was talking about earlier, the principle is like you should never just have this one database on one computer. You can take this file, which is encrypted, and you can copy it and put it other places. And not only that, you can use it on the Mac, you can use it on a PC, a Linux computer, and you will maintain and store all the same passwords. So really important. Again, with TechHelpGuy, I'm always trying to really drill in principles for the new world that we live in that is technologically based. And then from there, you have this database where you keep all your passwords. And again, this is principled because any password manager, it looks different. The interface looks different for other ones. And then you can have the long and interesting philosophical computer science debate of which one is more encrypted and which one is more safe and all that stuff. But I'm not going to get into that. Often, if you just look honestly online, Google or anything, you'll generally find the top 10 good password managers, and one will work. It's not like you don't have to get in a super fancy argument which one's better, but they all are basically the same with a different user interface. This one has the root folder. And a big thing is like making groups, and I'll make a group. This is my social media, and you can add notes and all that, but I'll just leave that blank for now. And within this database, I now have a folder for social media, and if I want to make another folder, I can make a folder for banking. And now I have a folder for banking. And so you can do this, obviously, infinitely. And I think you can even make a group within a group with this. So, you can Facebook, you have you're crazy, and you have like a million Instagram accounts. So I think that's how it works, huh? Yeah. So you can make, with KeePass XC, you can make folders within folders, and you can get really organize if you're like one of those people like me who are just OCD about organization. You can have multiple trees within branches within branches, with leaves on leaves, and so you would. And again, like this is just the way you want to think. Every time you sign up for something, I'm going to sign up for something. I'm going to pick an email, a password. Every single time, I'm going to put this into my chosen password manager. And even this might even seem like a little too much time and confusing to people, but all I'm saying is please, for the love of God, do it. And once you program your mind to do it all the time, it's super simple and it's super easy. And it might sound over the top or exaggerated, but this is a huge part of making the world a better place, because we can mitigate a lot of crime and corruption by just using password managers and not making it easy for criminals to steal shit. So yeah, you make a title, and this one's kind of cool, like password key pass.xc, because you can make a title for it. So like we'll call this one Facebook, and then you make your username me at TechHelpGuy.ca. And then like, this is the beauty of a password manager. It doesn't matter what my password is. You've done the thing that I was talking about earlier, where you're making a complex password and it's in your head for your password manager. But for the password manager itself, it doesn't matter. You can just, oh yeah, blam, 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 and I'll like make it showing. But it's like, you just slam on it, right? Slam on the keyboard, hit the shift, get some symbols in there, get some letters, make sure there's some capital letters, make sure there's some numbers, and just make it crazy. It doesn't have to be insanely long, but as long as it's insanely complex and doesn't have any consistency at all, like password 123 or John 69 or Samantha 1984, or just things that associate, like really simple things to figure out, you're good. And then you can, this is for Facebook.com. And then you can add notes to that if you want. You can give more detail onto what this password is about. And now it's saved, and it's in my social media. And I think that is that's about as far as the principles go when it comes to password and password managers. And I encourage everyone to use them and to program their mind to not ever not use them, and then from there, you can, for this one, I believe it's control. So when you have your password manager open, you control B for the username, and then you control C for the password, and you can just bloop, bloop, put that in your Facebook. And then with these themselves, you can actually connect them to your browser. So everything you save in your password manager then auto-fills in your browser. And I won't go into that, but a lot of them like that. Like I've said, everyone generally uses these most of the time, especially on personal stuff. They just do the auto-create password autofills. But that's what I'm trying to get at, is most people aren't thinking about that when they do that, and they're just letting the device suggest it for you, and just clicking. Oh, there, that's easy. But you can actually get in behind and actually understand that there is a password manager behind that you can access. You can look into deeply into your browser or into your Android or your Apple, and you can get more into the details of that and understand that. And the number one most important thing is that you're not doing that automatically without thinking about it on just one thing. You need this to be at least on two things, but preferably on more than two things, where you can always have access to it, because you want to program your mind to always use a password manager. But you always, no matter what happens, if your house burns down, if you drop your phone in the toilet, if your computer blows up, whatever happens, you're going to have your passwords for everything that you've ever signed up for. And they're always going to be different for everything you've signed up for. And that will make a better, more secure world. And I think that ends Tech Help Guy for today. And I hope anyone watching enjoyed this and found this useful. And I around 24/7. Like I said, you can find my info and contact at TechHelpGuy.ca. I am primarily focused on Edmonton, Alberta, and Canada. I ended at Canada, like I'm staying within Canada, but specifically I'm a real person in Edmonton, Alberta, and Canada, and you can contact me through here. I am a person with a life and a job, so I obviously can't respond to everything instantaneously and give you multiple hours of my time every single second of the day, but you can message me 24/7, and the moment I can is the moment I will try to help you. So I hope everyone has a good weekend, a long weekend at that, and until next time, this was Tech Help Guy. Cheers.